Yeah, from the first minute to the
The
last second.
minute. That's right.
You're literally on your toes, you're just on your feet looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good.
I mean,
And y'all, I have a friend that calls this show emotional porn. What's your reaction to that?
I
He won't watch it because he said it's just emotional porn and they're just trying to get you to cry as much as you can. What's your reaction to that? This is
listen.
us. And everyone, thank you for joining us. This is the right perspective.
right. So we weren't doing no intro, nothing. We just in
I
it.
forgot.
Listen,
No, this is the
we
right
hopped
perspective.
right in that thing.
All right, well, let's get right into it.
But we are professionals, and now we're gonna get it rolling here.
We want to backtrack.
We're the Right Perspective podcast. Thank you for joining us. We are doing a live discussion, not a recap, but a review of episode 3 of This Is Us, NBC. Just aired tonight, just ended a few minutes ago. And we are the Right Perspective podcast. We'll introduce ourselves and then we'll just hop right in. Take it away, bro.
Hi, my name is Aubrey, and Aubrey writes, and I'm the oldest. I was scolded before for not saying my last name.
Yes, he was. By me. I'm Janiyah Wright, the middle.
And I am Brittany Wright, the youngest. Get into it.
That's right. Just like you get into that
Hello.
middle syllable. That middle syllable.
Brittany, get it together. Listen, we ain't got time.
Until we hang up and you're Brittany again.
Exactly.
All right.
Everywhere
All
I
right.
go, they don't want me to shine.
I want you to shine. I want you to shine. I want you. Man, I want you.
y'all, and I have to say, we have quite a task ahead of us to discuss this episode in 30 minutes.
We're going to do it.
This is
We're
very
gonna do
hard
it.
Be done.
because
We're
there's
gonna do
so
it.
much.
There's so much,
to
but-
dig in on.
but I believe in us. I believe in our
This
dynamic.
is us.
I
This is
believe
us.
we are, big 3. We are going to be able to make this happen. All right, so let's go.
That's right.
Let's
so-
go.
All right, so Janiyah asked a very poignant question,
And
Brittany.
I'm going to recap it for those that are just joining. I have a friend that will not watch This Is Us because he says it's emotional porn and that NBC is just trying to make you cry as much as you can. And I disagree with that, but I want to hear what y'all think. Bro, sis, is This Is Us emotional porn?
Go ahead, bro.
1,000%. And I love it. I love make me cry. Okay. Make me walk away. Make me say what I said tonight. Oh my God, they're growing up so much like I know those children. I want you to do that to me. It is 1,000%. I agree with your friend, hands down, and I love it.
Well, I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with your friend and with the youngest, because what This Is Us is phenomenal writing. That's what it is.
There you go.
And when you have phenomenal writing, there are going to be times when you're mad and when you're sad and when you're happy. And the thing that I love about This Is Us is it makes me feel real emotion without. So yes. And I've never actually cried. I want to put that out there, okay, into the universe. But there were times I got close.
Well, let me say this. I
Wait
thank
a
you so
minute.
much. I thank you so much, bro.
And disagree with me and agree with me at the same time.
Well, no, I think that, okay, unless we're confused in what we're saying, I think that what Janiyah was saying was that This Is Us just pulls emotions for the sake of pulling emotions.
That's what Janiyah's friend was saying. Not
Oh.
Janiyah.
I mean, not you. Yeah, but Janiyah,
Okay.
with the point that you were, that's what she was asking.
Yeah.
And from what
No, I didn't take that question like that. I took
see,
it
there it is, communication. Man, we need
as I didn't
randos.
take it like that. I thought it was just like, do I cry? Yes, I do.
Well,
Oh, well, no, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you cried at a macaroni commercial one time, I think.
And
So
I
yeah,
did,
that
and
goes.
it's still delicious. So
Listen,
there's that.
can I say one thing about watching?
Brittany used to cry when she was a little girl. Every time we saw a homeless person, Brittany would cry. Just so y'all know, this is the level of heart our sister has. So no, she ain't ready for This Is Us.
And
She
if you
can't
didn't
handle
know,
it. No.
and if you didn't know, Janiyah is a singer in front of the church. She used to cry every time.
Anyways, let's keep going.
Brittany, see, I got you
Nobody
back.
wants to hear
I
about
got you
that.
back, Britt. I just straight pivoted off of that. And then,
Nobody wants to hear about that. Get out of the archives. You know.
all right.
Well,
Look,
I'm going to give my reaction.
so
to that
now,
statement.
wait, no, I want to now with understanding what Janiyah meant by emotional porn, what her friend meant.
Yeah.
What
Right.
do you think about the question then, Britt?
Well, since I do, my understanding now is that they're just making you cry for the sake of crying. No. I do not feel that way at all.
Okay.
I 1000% feel like it's genuine emotion because This Is Us makes you reflect.
There you
Gotcha.
go.
It makes you reflect on your own
There
life,
you
your
go.
own upbringing, your own, like it's just real life and how so many things are connected. And I will tell you, Alexis, our cousin Alexis is in the room and she said, hey y'all. But she also said, listen, everyone loves porn. So she did make sure to say that.
Just to be clear.
Just
But
to
you
be
know
clear.
what?
That's
The thing about
Shamir Baker, she did say they want you to cry. I agree, and ain't nobody got time for that.
Alexis made me do an Aubrey timeout.
And then,
Come back.
Lex made Aubrey do a timeout.
All right,
Y'all.
I'm back. Let's go.
The reason. So the thing about porn is, you know exactly where it's heading, right? You know exactly where it's heading, and that's why this show could never be emotional porn, because sometimes you want to cry, sometimes you want to laugh, sometimes you just are confused, sometimes you're angry. Okay, you don't know. It's not predictable. Okay, so take that, friend who said that. Now you know who you are. Now I don't call no names. You know who you are. Okay, so
comment below so we can know.
All right, come on, let's get into it. So what's up? What do you want to talk about first?
Bro, what do you want to talk about first? Because y'all, I want to let y'all know this is Aubrey's idea for us to do this live right now. So for Aubrey to suggest this is huge.
Well, first of all, I love this show, and I think this show is amazing. So I felt like it was necessary for us to talk about it immediately after it went off. But let's kind of go in order. So the first thing that happened, well, not the first thing, but one of the first things is that we see the dynamic kind of Randall as a young teenager, being Black in this white family. And he's in a very interesting situation because his parents especially genuinely love him and genuinely care for him. So he's in an environment, at least from that perspective, from a very, in a big way, he's in this environment of love from the parents.
Absolutely.
But he's Black in a white family. And we could do a whole series of shows just on that. But right now, it seems like in the past, Randall is starting to try to come into his own a little bit. And it was interesting because I love how in the beginning, we saw a couple of scenes. The first scene was Randall and Kevin at what was it, like a hospital?
At the doctor's office.
Doctors, what was
getting
that?
The check
doctors, yeah. And basically, yeah. And we see Kevin moving on his path of, he was a little light for his age. And so he moved into the whole working out aspect with his father, football training, which is going to play out later. And we see Randall starting to get a little attitude, which I'm not used to, but I'm starting to understand based on the context of the things that were going on. Last episode, they showed him watching events unfold on television that were impacting him with really nowhere to discuss it or anywhere to put that. And now we see immediately after the hospital that they're organizing a study group, and is Kate is the one organizing the study group, and she's bringing over a couple of her classmates, and one of the classmates apparently likes Randall. So
very apparent,
and very apparently, and Kate likes one of the.
If shoot your shot was a person, honey.
And listen,
okay,
you know what? I am not going to shame her for naming what she wanted and pursuing it, because women get shamed for that. I'm not going to shame that, but let the record show she was.
I'm a judge, though.
She was incredibly clear.
Well, you know what? You know what? What we're going to have to do? We're going to have to talk about all the incidents and not break them up time wise, because we're just going to have to.
You're right. Let's
say your spoiler alert.
Randall.
You didn't say your
spoiler alert, but obviously,
big time.
Yeah, big time spoiler alert.
Let's do the whole Randall storyline. Maybe we just do all Randall stuff.
So that we're not going to do Randall for the whole 30 minutes, Janiyah.
I was about to say,
saying let's just do all of Randall stuff. Then we can do
but I'm just letting you know. Because I know you.
Welcome to the Randall This Is Us podcast.
Yeah, exactly right. No, okay,
this is Randall.
Where it's all Randall 24/7.
This is Randall. Okay, so Randall is Kate brings over these students to her home to do the study group. One of them is a girl, and she likes Randall, and she puts on her little. She gets him alone. She puts on her little root beer lipstick, and she straight up is like, you want to taste my lipstick? He's like, he doesn't quite know what to do with it. And then he's like, you know what? I need to get out of here. So he gets up. Now, this is why Brittany says if shooting your shot was a person, because she stood up with him, stopped him from leaving, and was like, I always wonder.
I'm gonna die if you just say the line. I'm gonna die.
Just say it.
Say
what
it.
It was like.
It's gonna kill me, but say
kiss
it.
A person like you.
Now I'm dead. I knew it was gonna kill me.
Now, listen. Let me tell you this. That is. Can you imagine his?
I can imagine.
Can you imagine his?
In there.
Mixture between, and because I'm gonna let you know, on some level, I'm sure he was flattered, but you have flattered mixed with offense. Like, what do you mean somebody like me? You know what I'm saying? And like, he just walked away. Now, the beauty of this is that we fast forwarded to the present time. And Randall is, well, first of all, do y'all got any thoughts you want to talk about the him?
Yeah. I got some thoughts. Okay, because you know what? Listen. Here's what I have to say.
Here.
I just think about being a grown dollar sign woman, okay, and being tokenized and being fetishized. It's heavy. It's annoying, and it's constant. It's always happening on some level. And to have to deal with that as a child and to not have anywhere to go for coaching or support, part of what enables you to be able to deal with those kinds of things is watching people around you deal with it, and then debriefing. And Randall has not had the opportunity to do any of that, and to go and talk to his parents about whiteness and blackness when he has not had a chance to have real conversations about whiteness and blackness. I mean, it's just, my heart was just ripped out for him. And because that is just probably the first time of many times in his life that he's going to experience that all the time. Absolutely. So that's what I felt. I felt, well, what
do you think about it?
Gotcha.
I was definitely in agreement with Janiyah, just in terms of this fetishizing that was happening in that moment. And just that it was happening at such a young age. This type of mindset is not anything that just happens when people get older. This is over time. There was conversation in her house that has made her say to him verbally out loud, I've always wanted to kiss someone like you. What does that mean, sweet pea? And so when you hear her saying something like that, it's like, how often are Black people experiencing this at the hands of white people and at the hands of many others, other cultures and ethnicities? How often is that happening? Because there's this desire to experience what the stereotype is of this person. But I also think about the fact that she had agency. She felt freedom enough at this young middle school age to approach a boy and say these things to him. And to that
So
is something that
complex.
many
So
young
complex.
Black girls, they don't get that opportunity.
Nope.
If they were to do something like that, they're immediately characterized as being fast, as being too grown, as doing all these different things. If they were to ever do anything similar like that. But for her, oh, she's just expressing herself. She knows what she wants. All these different things. And it is because of many things that have been placed on Black girls and Black boys that they have in the media and things like that. They make it as if we are maturing quicker than others, but no, they're still adolescents, they're still children. But again, the fact that she was able to do that, feel free to do it, feel okay to do it, that is a huge problem. And it makes me go, who does she grow up to be? It makes me go, who is her boyfriend in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Who is, you know,
And
what is she doing in college? You know,
And
so
you-
those are the
Well,
things that make me
I
go,
mean, I'm not gonna go
we actually
quite
have
that
to
far.
move. We have to move on.
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of.
we got
oh
to
yeah,
move.
my bad, my
We
bad.
gotta move. Oh man, we could such a good topic.
Yeah,
Because
and y'all, we will be talking about this all week as a
because
family, just so
Listen.
y'all know.
because
I
I'm
mean,
just letting
I
you
know we
know
got to move
that
on.
I know, but I just want to say that scene to me was one of those scenes that was even more complex than, because I'm gonna tell you this. We grew up in Pittsburgh, and I'm just saying that we grew up in a household where our self-identity was very strong, and where we grew up, with a lot of confidence, and we grew up in a traditional nuclear family, all that kind of stuff. And what I'm saying is what's interesting about this situation is that, first of all, kids are going to be kids, and they're going to experiment and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to completely sell her out. But what I do want to say is I wonder, the fact, it's interesting that I think Randall reacted the way he did because he grew up in a white household, because I think that and it would be interesting to hear people chime in on this, but I think that most guys at that age,
Well, I think we also have
Black
to
or
make,
not,
but there's the nerd factor. And listen, I'm not using that term in a disparaging way.
well,
Some
let me
might have put me in
let
that category
let
when I
me
was
just
growing up. But that's a factor, bro.
I, let me just finish my thought real quick, and then, but what I'm saying is that it's interesting to see that, because he's a nerd, yes, but what I'm saying is it was an opportunity to kiss a girl.
He's still a boy.
And what I'm saying, huh?
He's still a boy.
What I'm saying is I feel like what really halted him was the fact that he grew up around in this white family, which actually stopped him from even wanting to engage with her in that way. Because I think that otherwise, it's the kids, it's like spin a bottle, whatever, when you're that young. And it would be interesting to see what would happen if he didn't grow up with these things right in front of his face 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm just saying that whole dynamic is
interesting,
and
bro.
I don't think that
That's
girl is
interesting.
done. I think she's coming back. I think she's coming back around.
Right.
That's how I feel.
All right. So all right. So we're going to go. All right. So
let's go to adult
okay.
Randall. Let's go to adult
Yes,
Randall,
so-
because we see.
So
Go ahead.
So adult Randall, what was interesting is that now adult Randall, we moved to the present time, and a couple of things are happening. First of all, he's with his new Black therapist, and he's nervous, and it's interesting because he even feels like he has something to prove to his new therapist, which is interesting because everybody in the world looks at Randall like you are the man, but it's just based on how he grew up and the things that he packed away. Even though he's a truly confident person, there are parts of him that are truly not. And to see the struggle between this extremely accomplished person and all these embedded insecurities is just very interesting to see play out. But so the therapist asked him to write a story that he would like him to write. And he ended up writing the story of when the white girl asked him for the kiss. And what's also interesting about this, another thing that's going on is his oldest daughter, Tess, who we know is a lesbian, made a viral video telling off her teachers for touching her hair.
Telling them off.
Now, the reason why, and one of the reasons why this is so good is because when Beth and Randall are discussing this, they're saying like, listen, Randall's saying like, look, she's wrong, but part of me is proud of her because when I was her age, if I was offended, I wouldn't have even said anything. And that's, then it's connected to the story when he was a kid. So that's what happened with Randall as an adult. And I was just like, man, that was just some excellent.
So deep.
Yeah, and they did such a great job of depicting the youth of today.
Yeah.
I am so, again, it's these same mixed feelings of like just being so proud of the freedom that young people feel to express themselves today. But I feel anxiety about things like internet presence. And so my whole thing was when the video happened, my thought was, why did she just do it as a live demonstration in a space where no one had a cell phone? Because I didn't hate that she did it. I just hated that she did it in a way that video is going to live.
It'll follow her forever. Right.
So if you're going to
So if you're going to do it,
that was my struggle with it. But I appreciate it because this show, it's so clearly 2020. And so what we were watching was Randall in his youth not being able to express what he was feeling. And then this moment right now, 2020, where we are all so overwhelmed with emotion that we're all acting out. We all are. And we got to see Tess do a little bit of that. So let's go. So the last piece, I think, of the Randall storyline is that we met an Asian gentleman and his granddaughter. You know how This Is Us was to sneak in some new characters, and you were like, "What's their relationship?"
Let's talk about that one last.
Okay.
Let's talk about that last because that was the slam dunk at the end.
Okay.
Yes. So
listen, because I was like, I said, who's gonna be in this picture? I thought it was gonna be Kevin's girlfriend's mom.
All right.
All
we gotta move. We gotta move. Okay, so we're talking about Kate next. Also started in the same situation. Kate was in this study group. We all know Kate has had issues with being overweight, basically her whole life, and everything that comes along with that. And she invited, again, the study group over, and one of the guys who tried to become part of her group, she thought it was because he liked her. They used to, I guess, see each other, and she thought
been there,
he
missed
her. You testify. But it comes to find out, like, when she actually shot her shot too, because while they're at the end of the group work, she's like, look, I know you joined my group because you miss me. We all know why you're here. He was like, I'm here because you're doing
I like deserts. Deserts are
I like deserts, and you're doing a project on deserts.
What kind of
I'm gonna tell you what. Everybody knows what it's like to be in that friend zoned it situation. At least, you know, once or twice in your life where you thought it was something and it wasn't, man. And I think they showed that very well.
They definitely
I think
did.
this was an old boo. They used to go together.
Right,
and they broke up. And she was like, "Oh, you coming back for round 2? You're welcome. I know you was missing out." I wish I would have known Kate then, because I would have said, "Girl," when he said no, I was here for Desert, be like, "Oh, but I'm your quench for your thirst. You're welcome." But it's okay. I wasn't there. It's all right. But
Right.
what I will say about what I will say about Kate though is that to see her in this moment where she's still seemingly confident after being let down, we don't see that from Kate when she gets into high school. There is a big transition that starts to happen to Kate. So you see, as someone who has been, which we could talk about this more as a family, but being plus size your entire life, you love yourself, but then you realize that the world does not, or there are things that happen that then make your weight like a blanket. And so for Kate, I think I'm seeing her still being a little plus size girl, still loving herself, being like, "Oh, okay, well, he didn't feel the same way," and she moves forward. But then she also, you see that there is going to be soon a transition as we know her high school years that happen. And of course, a traumatic event happens in their high school years with her father passing. But even outside of that, there are just still some other things that go on as she's changing and she's growing and she's what is the word? Becoming out of adolescence, maturing. Puberty. That's the word I'm thinking of. Puberty, as she's going through puberty. And so yeah, so just to see her though be okay in that moment, I appreciated them showing that, because so often we see Kate just sad, and it's like she's not sad right now. She's okay. Oh, he likes deserts. Cool.
Well, the thing, I mean, the thing about it is that, you know, struggling with weight, it's with you all the time, and you know, and it's something that you don't really understand unless you struggle with it at any point in your life. But it's something that you're always thinking about. It's always in the back of your head. And in this moment where she's trying to be, you know, she's reaching out for something she wanted, I think it's one of those first moments that she might not even associate it with weight yet, because she talked to him before. But once those moments start accumulating of all these different things that are happening, like you said, Britt, that's what's going to ultimately translate into different reactions on top of all the other tragedies later on in her life.
I love that both of the Kate scenes we saw today were scenes where she was showing some ability to be resilient. I love
absolutely
because I mean
every time.
So going to the adult Kate scenario that we dealt with in this episode, her and Toby, they had a really tough time with their first son, and they decided to go adopt to expand their family and have a second child. And in this episode, they actually have a potential birth mother. And they meet with the birth mother, and it's like the chemistry is great. And the birth mother does, though, witness her and Toby having a little bit of an argument, as you do. Not a big deal. A little bit of a little spat. But even with that, the birth mother is sending them good signs and good vibes. And the Kate that we have seen in the past would be focusing solely on the negative, being very pessimistic, being completely nervous. And this time her default was optimism. And she was so ready to kind of really focus on the positive. And the whole time you're just hoping that she isn't getting her hopes up too high. And just as you're starting to worry about that, Toby comes in, as again, we just see over and over and over again that he is absolutely a wonderful partner for her. He comes in with a level set. Like, listen, we're super excited, but we also should have a little bit of a fear and anxiety right now. And he forced her to name it. He forced her to name it. And so I just appreciated that. I was like, both of these,
Yeah.
this is young Kate and adult Kate being resilient. Young Kate and adult Kate, coping, I think, in a way that is healthier than we've seen Kate cope with difficult
Yeah.
situations. And her source of support, young Kate, was her mom. And see, if we had time, we could go in on
Yeah,
that.
we going on
Listen.
that too.
Because that relationship, oh boy, have they up, down, left, right. There's so much to say.
So much.
Yeah.
So her source of support, young Kate, was her mom.
We got like
Adult
5
Kate
minutes.
was Toby.
Snaps.
So that's where their storyline is. And then
Janiyah.
of course,
Janiyah, I want you to tell this grandfather-daughter story. And I want you to go full Janiyah.
but bro, you're not even going to talk about the other brother,
Oh,
Kevin.
man. Okay.
This is why
All
Kevin
right,
got
all
so
right,
many
all right,
issues
all right.
now. People always
Bro.
forgetting about
Okay,
him.
no. You're right. All right. So I'm going super fast.
And bro,
Ready?
I will do Kevin because, and listen, and this is a violation. I'm not proud of it, but I did step away from the television for just a skosh. And I
Okay.
think I may have missed just a smidgen of that grandfather storyline. So I don't want to
But
be
did you
the
catch
teller
the
of it.
end? Because that's the only important part.
Okay, well, let's just not have
Okay,
Janiyah
okay,
recap that
okay.
one.
All right. All
But
right.
for Kevin,
Fast forward.
Kevin-
Let's go.
we've already talked about young Kevin. Young Kevin, we see him spending time with his father. And listen, Jack is excited because he has the opportunity to help his son get buffed up. And at the same time, we're seeing flashbacks to Jack and his father having positive interactions in that same context of getting buffed up. And that's really important because we know that Jack's relationship with his father is one, again, ups, down, lefts, right, but in aggregate, not awesome. Okay, very problematic.
Right.
And so we know the level of emotion and excitement that Jack was bringing into that workout space with Kevin.
Right.
So Kevin now as an adult, it's so interesting. He now has this complicated relationship with working out because his vanity has been a source of his success, but it's also now made him incredibly insecure.
So crazy.
And it just so
crazy.
happens that he didn't now impregnated a woman that also has issues in this same area. For him, it's like this obsessive working out and just feeling this pressure from his career to just be as cut as possible. And for her, she's been dealing with bulimia since high school, and almost died as a result. And now she's pregnant. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're just kind of like, for these two people to be on this journey together, they need a third person because we're going to need some support. That's my whole thought. Because you know what? I think it was wonderful that they were able to really be vulnerable with each other and kind of get past that shallow level of relationship that they've had to this point. The girl was getting up Madison. What's her name?
Madison
was getting up like Mrs. Maisel, putting makeup on in the morning before Kevin gets up. Come on, what you doing, girl? So, I mean, they really have been in the pretending phase of the relationship, even though they got babies on the way. But the discussion of their individual vanity challenges, that vanity, that's a shallow word, but self-image challenges.
Self-image, yep.
Self-image challenges it became a turning point in their relationship because we see now it's like the show what was that show back in the day where they put all the people in the house and then it was just like, now we're living in a house. And what happens when 8 people live in a house?
MTV, Real World.
Real World, right. When 8 people live in a house and they start to get real, what happens?
Yeah, that's definitely
and so
not how it goes.
They're
go ahead.
You got the gist. But they start to, it's a time
was
pressure.
Something like that.
I can't work like this. But they're starting to get real. They're starting to get real because their relationship is now on an accelerated path.
Got you.
Yeah.
So stuff is starting to get real.
I would like to say a beautiful thread about all of these relationships is the fact that they have all gotten to a place where they're honest with each other and they can be their most vulnerable and ugly selves with each other. Yeah. That's Beth and Randall. That's Toby and Kate. That's Kevin and Madison now. That's even Rebecca and Miguel. Because, listen, getting lost outside. You can't get any more some issues than
Vulnerable.
that. So
Yeah.
so being in that, and people think that the beautiful parts of relationship are, oh my God, IG pictures. No, beautiful parts of our relationship are, you saw the
Whose voice was that?
beautiful parts of relationship
I don't know, but
are,
it was appropriate.
okay.
Go, sis,
Beautiful
we're
parts
over
of
by 2
relationship
minutes.
are
Okay.
ugly. You see my ugliness and you're still there. And you still love me the same.
Yeah,
So.
it's interesting. If there's anything that This Is Us is missing, it is probably an example of a straight up dysfunctional relationship.
I don't know about that, bro. I feel like we've got a couple.
Who?
Jack and his father.
Oh,
Straight up
no.
dysfunctional.
I mean,
Romantic.
Oh, in the main three. In
no,
terms of
romantic. It doesn't have to be the main.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be the main. Anybody.
Well, Kate had a straight up dysfunctional relationship in high school.
Well, we haven't gotten into that yet, though.
Yeah,
but I can't wait.
Yeah, no, we
whatever.
saw it.
I know,
we
but
remember, there's this climactic part that we haven't learned yet,
right?
And I can't wait for that. But yeah, we did get into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I'm talking about like right now.
You're right.
In the present.
Yep. Everybody is finding
super great matched up.
Kind of balance.
But all right, so we gotta look out for that. But anyway, so
Kevin and his ex had a dysfunctional relationship. They could not get that figured out. Okay, anyway, we got to keep moving.
Okay. Last thing, and
this is the big.
This is the big real, is that the thing that I love about This Is Us is how they'll start a scene and you don't know what the scene is about.
Who was you?
And I'm gonna tell you, and look, listen, this was the first time that I watched something live. I literally couldn't remember the last time I watched something live. I mean, but it was interesting watching.
I had a flower pot in front of my television. I had to move it.
Yeah,
because I literally don't use my television.
But there were parts of it.
I really want to point out the fact that these are the older siblings saying that they don't watch anything live anymore, that they're doing all streaming. And I am the only one that watches this programming live on a regular basis.
Never.
This is so funny to me.
Brittany,
my TV
you just better be glad.
I just dust it off.
You just better be glad. You just better be glad that camera is attached and set up, because I would have you pan over to that bookshelf with,
First of all, I am not ashamed.
So we can just put it in context.
I own a ton of VHSs and DVDs. Shout out to my dual.
So I'm just saying.
In my room,
I'm just saying.
People don't know the volume.
I'm just.
People don't know the volume. They don't.
What
know
I'm saying is
that
you are a millennial with a VHS collection. I don't want you to feel like you represent your generation. Okay, as it relates to that.
Okay.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm the only one over here keeping it real. I'm the only one over here keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. Shout out to Blockbuster. Okay. Shout out to West Coast Video.
Bro, wrap us up, bro.
Listen.
Sorry.
Janai, get Brittany. All right, look. So, all right, so look,
you can watch Good Burger later. Bro, please go ahead.
They always trying to bite my style. All right, so look, so the end had a reveal. And it had a reveal based on this sub episode that was going on, or sub story line that was going on of this Asian family, or a grandfather and a
granddaughter.
And they were talking, just they went fishing and just
normal with your grandfather
stuff. But one thing he said he learned how to cook, and she asked, did you learn? He said, I learned how to cook because that's how you show somebody you love them, and that's why I learned how to cook. And the little girl's asking. He doesn't get clear about who it is he learned to cook for, but she asks at the end, is it the lady in the pictures?
In all the pictures.
In all
the pictures. All over the house.
And Brittany, who was it as they panned in?
It was a Randall's mom.
What? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
What?
And you know what? Listen, I don't care if I'm reacting exactly how they wanted me to, because that was my reaction. And you know what I love about this show is that you could say that you knew where it was going, but you didn't know.
You're
you
lying.
didn't
Say that. And you're not my friend because you're a liar, and I don't abide that. I don't value that in my relationships. Listen,
you didn't even know what time. You didn't know.
You didn't know.
You didn't know what time frame they were in.
Nope.
You didn't know what year they were in.
You had no
Many
idea.
Of these family members
you
spent
could not
time
guess.
in all different.
Because listen, I was sure looking at that baby's clothes. I said, "Now what's happening with this outfit?"
But that's why they did that on purpose.
They did it on purpose.
They did that. They did it on purpose.
Because there were no clues.
What is this?
Oh, so good.
There were no clues.
So
and
now
they knew exactly what they were doing.
So now we know that the I can't call it a secondary plot because there's so many plots going on, but that subplot is going to be developing, and I just
and there are so many ways. So we found out last episode that Randall's mother was alive, at least at the end, longer than we thought. We found out at least that she was alive longer than we thought. Okay, we thought all this time that she had been dead for Randall's formative years.
And we still don't know.
And we still don't know. We know that she
was alive
a skosh longer than we thought. That's what we found out at the last episode. Now this episode,
and with this is that picture could have been from when she was 18 and went to college.
Can I tell y'all something? Can I please tell y'all something?
Please.
If Randall's mom is still alive, I'm probably gonna lose it. I just want y'all to know.
You know what? We should all make a bet on it right now live.
Okay.
Is Randall's mother alive in 2020? What is your perspective, bro?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say they're going to shock our minds to what?
Channel 9.
Channel 9.
Because that's where your mind goes when it gets shocked. Everybody knows.
Listen.
Well, bro, I'm going to say.
When your mind is truly shocked.
Right to Channel 9. I'm going to say.
Shock your mind.
Shout out to our mom. Shout out to our mom.
Listen, our mom's been shocking our minds to Channel 9 our entire life.
She shocked my mind yesterday.
Listen.
Right, go ahead. What about you?
I'm going to say my guess is that yes, I think I'm going to say not only is she alive, but there are more family members. And that's what I'm going to say for 2020 reveal.
Listen, it's so funny that you would say that, sis. And Ordis Cheji, she just said, I believe his therapist is his brother. Listen.
I'm so happy this is recorded, because if that is right, we are coming back and we're gonna have the very first Right Perspective prize. And
let me tell you.
I will tell you this. I do believe my prediction is that his mother is still alive, but I didn't think it would be the therapist. I thought Mekhi Phifer is going to be the dad of the boyfriend of the sisters of the daughter's boyfriend. Now
you're way out the box.
Listen, I was like, that's going to be his brother.
You know what? Here's the thing. It's
going to be a connection.
Here's the thing. That would blow my mind.
Well,
but I don't
want it. But Omar Epps, he was doing that. It was Omar Epps, sis. I don't think it was Mekhi Phifer, right?
Is it
Omar Epps? I'm sorry.
It was Omar Epps. 100%. And I know
Omar
because I've been married to both of them. So I know that it was Omar Epps. And
I know. I'm sorry. I'm in wedded bliss with Will Smith, so I'm always lost.
You're not even thinking about all my husbands. That's right.
I'm not.
So
I'm not.
That was Omar Epps. That was my husband. And he has shown up in this show as such an amazing actor in his role that I would not be surprised if they found a way to add another layer of depth to bring him back around again.
Well, we're gonna see. I'm curious.
We gotta wrap, folks.
Yeah, we gotta wrap. Listen, thank you for joining us tonight. And we went 20 minutes.
Well, a little bit over.
But look, we're getting better. This is a process.
Oh, it's so
hard. We did so well. We did so well because there's more thoughts. So many thoughts.
Because now
we're gonna
let you guys go, and at 3 with each other and talking till 8 o'clock in the morning. So we did really, really good.
We did. Thank y'all for joining. This is The Right Perspective. Check us out.
Right